Well, it hasn't been confirmed, but it appears tonight that the big miners and the government have reached a compromise deal on the controversial mining tax. The agreement is expected to be formally announced tomorrow, but some of the country's smaller players aren't celebrating. Junior miners like Atlas Iron have claimed they've been ignored. A short time ago, I spoke to the company's managing director, David Flanagan. Well, David Flanagan, welcome to Lateline Business.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we're hearing about a mining tax breakthrough. Are you happy about that?
Well, I suppose Atlas is a member of the junior fraternity in Australia, and we're a member of AMEC, and we expected to be consulted in the process. So I'd be really surprised if there was an announcement that was supposed to be on a consensus basis, because we haven't even been in the room, and AMEC represents 140 or thereabouts member mining companies, and we thought that we were pretty important, and important for the development of Australia.
So the government hasn't spoken to you? They haven't contacted you at all? Haven't contacted your organisation?
Well, it's really important for the government to talk to the majors. So Xstrata and BHP and Rio Tinto have been in that room, but AMEC haven't had a representative in that room at all, so they don't feel as though they've been consulted with. And I suppose the perception is, ahead of actually seeing any raw data, is that the outcome is going to be a product of what's important to the majors, and that's not necessarily what's important to the juniors.
So the fact that BHP, Rio and Xstrata may reach a deal with the government or a part of these talks doesn't encourage you?
Well, it's good that there is progress, okay? Look, we're not, I suppose, anti-tax reform, and we all want to contribute to Australia. But if we're not consulted, then we don't know what the product is. And if we were going to be consulted, why would they make an announcement before consulting with us?
Well,
because purely, if they go and announce it without talking to us, then it's very hard to turn things around. That's the way we feel.
Well, there is speculation they could make an announcement as soon as tomorrow. How would you feel about that?
Well, I suppose I would be concerned if there was an announcement that took place before there was proper consultation and a consensus, because after all, that's where we thought we were heading with this, with Julia Gillard, but maybe not, and maybe we've got a lot more reason to be concerned about the future of Australia.
Well, here's the speculation. One element speculated on in this deal is that the trigger point for the tax, the uplift factor, will be around 12%. Is that acceptable to you?
You can't just look at this tax from one aspect. So lifting the uplift rate to 12% would obviously provide a big benefit to a company with a large amount of expended capital. And juniors do not have that. We do not get the benefit, and our business models are not focused on spending a large amount of capital. So that creates a disparate benefit for one company over another, and that creates an advantage for one company over us juniors.
Well, it is supposed to be around the average cost of capital for the industry, isn't it?
It is not anywhere near the average cost of capital for the industry. We cannot go and borrow money to go out and go and drill a hole 300 kilometres inland on the back of an idea. And it's those people who go out and, with that pioneering spirit, make the big discoveries which have made our mining industry great. And we cannot borrow money from a bank. We have to rely on those equity markets, and they're effectively confidence markets. And right now the confidence is low, the mojo is gone, and we need to get it back by doing something quickly, which doesn't provide a disadvantage to the juniors. And that's what we're concerned about.
Well, what about the retrospectivity issue? There's speculation that you'll be able to inject your existing assets into the tax regime at market value.
Well, one of the issues with that is, and again, this is just speculation because we don't know this has come, but let's imagine that at the moment the market value of some of these assets is very high, and then the commodity prices were to fall at some stage in the future, and those businesses, the profit margins would get squeezed, or they'd be moved into different parts of businesses that were integrated upstream and downstream. Those companies may never end up paying any tax. I don't know if the market mechanism is the right one to use. It definitely provides a bigger advantage to those companies with larger assets. And really the junior end of town are effectively the prospectors. But without the prospectors, you won't have the mid-caps. And without the mid-caps, you won't have the majors. And you'll just end up with, well, the risk is you ended up with a mining landscape dominated by a few companies. And that can't be good for anyone.
What about a cut in the headline rate of 40%?
Again, the answer is the same. You can't look at any of these things in isolation. You need to sit down at a table with all of the key stakeholders and work out where the value is, where the risk and where the value destruction is for all the different proponents, and then negotiate an outcome that's good for everyone. But really, some of these majors, these big mining companies, their businesses are better compared to a large industrial, like a Coca-Cola type business, than they are to a junior explorer. The business models are so vastly different. So to think that those guys know our business and can properly negotiate an outcome on behalf of us, I don't think that they can. And I don't think to date that the government has shown a true and proper understanding of our businesses to actually take the issues that we've brought up and implement them. So again, we haven't seen any of the information that's due to come out soon, and we are speculating. But to date, we've not been involved in the process, and we're feeling very concerned, that's for sure.
Does this speculation suggest you're being done over by the big players?
I suppose we have been in contact with some of the big players, and they assure us that that is not the case. But really, we haven't seen this information, and if there is an announcement tomorrow morning, we'll make our judgments then.
Well, David Flanagan, we'll have to leave it there. Thanks for speaking to Lateline Business.
Thank you.